I'm going to show you with the bolster just so you can see what it looks like. Kim, I think you've done this one with me before on that for the restorative. So it's basically you bring the pillow or whatever it is up against the lower back, and then you lay back on it. But you probably want to elevate the head a little bit too, because it might feel like too much. So that's something to keep in mind. And this might take you a few minutes to figure out how to get comfortable. And then with the legs can either stay out straight in front, or you can bring the feet together and put stuff underneath the knees, like pillows or towels or things that are sort of rolled up. That's the other option. But this starts to open up the chest, and also it brings a nice curve to the spine. So just figure out for yourself how to make it so that you feel pretty comfortable. And you'll know because your chest wants to, there's like a little bit of a back bend. There he is. And what you'll do is basically once you decide on your position and you have your legs where you want them, you can also put by the way, like a rolled up blanket under your knees as well. Your arms will be out by your sides. And then you'll just close your eyes. And we'll start to let go, and I'll guide you through a little bit of a meditation and body awareness kind of thing. So this is a restorative pose. So we're going to start with a restorative pose, and then we'll do a little bit of stretching. Oh my God, Brody. The toy in his mouth. I can't even. So with your eyes closed and your arms outstretched, go ahead and just start to bring awareness to your breath for now. You don't have to watch me at all. You just have to get into your own physical body right now. So for now, maybe just soften the belly and bring your awareness to how the belly rises and falls as you breathe. Maybe even place a hand over the heart and maybe the other one on your belly so that you're able to do that. And for now, just notice the breath. Don't try to change it. You don't need to adjust anything. Just notice it. And then see if maybe you can start to deepen the breath a little bit. And maybe even, if it's available to you, maybe even allowing your exhalations to be longer than your inhalations. Maybe do a little bit of a body scan and just kind of bringing your awareness to the different parts of the body, from starting with the feet and working your way up. Just notice if there's anything that needs attention or a little bit of extra stretching or anything like that. And if you come across any area or body part that feels especially tight when you bring your awareness to it, see if you can direct the breath there. And that's really just a metaphor. It's really just about bringing your awareness there, bringing your attention there. And by bringing your awareness and your attention to those tight spots. And then focusing on your breath, it helps to soften those edges. Just keep breathing, keep noticing your breath. Maybe even count to yourself if it helps. So if your inhalation goes to the count of 5, see if you can get your exhalation to slow down and go to the count of 7. But the numbers don't matter. They're different for everyone. So you can work that out while you're doing it. And just feel your body settling into the mat or the rug or whatever you have for support. Maybe think of your body as melting ice cream right now, where every time you exhale, you just melt a little bit deeper into your supports. And you are fully supported here. You have something under your back and under your legs. Maybe just notice that for a moment. Notice all the points of contact between your body and the mat below you. And then from here, taking your time, we will move some of the props out of the way, but we are going to use them again. So don't push them too far, but maybe just move them to the side temporarily. And then you're going to stay on your back. If you need to adjust your camera so you can see better, that you can do that. And if you have a strap or a belt or anything that you can use in case you need it, you may not, but just in case. So the first thing I'm going to have you do next, just making myself a little pillow. So we're going to keep the knees bent with the feet on the floor or on the mat and take them a little bit wider than normal. And then you'll rock them back and forth like windshield wipers, basically. Just do this a few times and notice your breath. Just make sure that you're breathing fully and deeply. See what you notice here. I definitely notice certain muscles when I do this that might need a little attention. And this you can do anytime on your own. Do not wait for yoga class to do this. It's so good for you, and it resets the spine and the hips. And then from here, we'll bring the knees in towards the chest and just rock a little bit side to side. This is another one of those underrated things. It just feels so good. It's a very gentle stretch for the lower back. And then we'll stop rocking and keeping the knees in towards the body. You can place your hands on the tops of the knees, but I want you to try, if you can, to not use the hands, because this is actually work for the lower abdominal muscles. So the point here is that you can keep the hands on the knees, and then the knees go forward until the thigh bones become perpendicular to the floor and the ceiling. So they become vertical, right? And then we'll bring them back in as you exhale. And then as you inhale, you bring them vertical again. Sounds ridiculously easy, and it is, but it's actually very effective for the lower back. So we'll do a few rounds of this and just synchronize the breath with the movement as best you can. And you don't have to synchronize your breath with mine, with your own. So we'll inhale, the knees move out, and then we exhale and the knees come back in towards the chest. Inhale out, and then exhale the knees to chest. So this is called Apanasana. And like I said, it's I think a lot of teachers don't teach this because it's too simple or basic, but the key to remaining flexible and limber, and also to prevent pain, is not to do a lot of aggressive yoga. It's to do very simple, soft movements, and to do them a lot. You don't need to sweat to get results. So we'll do like 3 more rounds, and then I'll have you bring your feet to the mat when you're finished with the 3 rounds. Then from here, just bring the right knee in. You can interlace the fingers and hang on to the shin. And then extend the left leg out in front. So the foot is on the floor, but the leg is straight. And we'll just bring that right knee in towards the chest. And be gentle. You don't have to force it or push it. And then bring that left leg back in. Just bring the foot to the mat and bend the knee. And then you'll bring your interlaced fingers, you'll open them up and interlace them again behind the thigh. Or if you have a strap, you can use a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use a belt. And if you have neither, maybe just the hands behind the knee. So we'll start with the foot pointing up towards the ceiling, like it's parallel with the ceiling. And if you can, the knee can be bent here, by the way. Maybe try pressing, if you've got a lot of flexibility in the hamstrings, you can try pressing your heel towards the ceiling while you bring the leg towards straight. But if you're tight in the hamstrings like me, then you can press the ball of the foot towards the ceiling. So it's almost like you're wearing high heels. Invisible ones, of course. We'll just breathe a few times through this. And then you'll bring the thigh in again, so the knee will be more bent, but the shin is still perpendicular to the ceiling, and then the foot is still parallel. And then you're going to take the left leg out again. So the foot is on the floor, It's just that the leg is straight. And we'll just breathe here. And then see if you can bring that right leg towards straight again. Again, it doesn't have to be a big movement. And it doesn't matter if you're using a strap or using your hands. A strap is easier to do this next thing, but you can still figure it out by like reaching up and bending the knee and grabbing the foot. We're actually going to take the leg out to the side. And the knee can be bent as much as it needs to be here, okay? So basically, you're just going to grab whatever you can reach. Like if you can reach your toe, that would be great. And you're going to use your right hand. The left hand will be on your left hip. And then very, very slowly, as slow as you can, slowly start to open the leg out to the side. And it doesn't matter how far you go, you'll know when to stop and your leg will want to stop. So you may not reach the floor, and that's fine. So you'll get to your edge, wherever the edge is, and then you'll just stay here for a few breaths. And if possible, try not to let the left hip come off the floor. And that might mean bringing the leg in again, and that's okay. Full deep breaths here. And then very slowly, see if you can start to bring the leg back up to center. And now, this part you may not like very much, but we're going to bring the leg further, so it's over to the left now. And you will most likely feel that in the outside of the hip. Just go as far as you can. This is tough for a lot of people, and I always feel it way up here, so I usually just stay here. But wherever your edge is, you'll know when you get there. And then just breathe into that. And then very, very slowly, you can come back to center and then release. I feel like I'm really far from the mic. Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. So we're going to switch sides. So we can start with both knees bent, and we'll take our clasped hands to the outside of the left shin and then straighten out the right leg. And we'll just stay here for a few breaths. You might notice a stretch in the front of the right hip or thigh area. And if you do, that's your psoas muscle. This muscle, believe it or not, is also responsible for the lower back too. I mean, everything in that area is. So it's always good, like I said earlier, to do the front muscles and the back muscles. And then go ahead and bring the right foot in so the knee is bent. And we'll get our clasped hands behind the left thigh. And again, we'll just start by pressing the foot up, either the heel of the foot or the ball of the foot. We'll just take a few breaths here. And again, the knee can be bent as much as it needs to be. And then we'll go ahead and bring the knee in towards the chest and then keeping the shin vertical. And we'll take the right leg out. You might notice one side is different than the other. Maybe one side is a little more flexible and one side is less. And then if it's available to you, maybe start bringing the left leg towards straight. Again, it's might be easier easier said than done. It's definitely a little struggle. And then whenever you're ready, you can reach up and take the foot or your belt or strap or the toe and very slowly start to take the left leg out to the side. And again, the knee can be bent to any degree and the right hand can rest on top of the right hip, just to make sure your hip doesn't start to come off the floor. And we'll just breathe. Again, you'll know where your edge is. You could even place a block or something underneath the calf if you feel like you need a little extra support. Full deep breaths. And then slowly we'll start to bring the left leg back up to center. And then over to the right a little bit. Just until you can feel it in the hip. And again, maybe notice if one side is different than the other. And then slowly start to bring the left leg back to center. And then remove the belt or strap. And we'll bring our feet back to the mat with the knees bent again. Now this next one is really easy. It might not, but it should feel easy. So right now, while you're laying with your back on the mat, just bring your awareness to your pelvis and your sacrum. So your sacrum is, of course, on the lower back, right? Now, if you can imagine that your sacrum is round, which it isn't, it's more triangular, but we'll pretend that it's roundish, like a clock. If you can press down where you feel 12 o'clock is, 12 o'clock being the furthest away from you, just go ahead and press against the mat. And again, maintain your deep breathing here. And then release. And then press at where it feels like 3 o'clock is. Do a full inhale and exhale. And then go ahead and release back to center. And then we'll inhale again, and as you exhale, press at 6 o'clock. Now it might be harder to breathe deeply here because you are using abdominal muscles, so just do your best. And then release to center. And then on your next exhale, we press at 9 o'clock. And then release to center. We're going to do another round, but it'll be a little bit quicker. So we're going to inhale, exhale and press down at 12, and then inhale back to center. Exhale at 3, and then inhale and release. Exhale at 6. Inhale and release. Exhale at 9 one more time. and then inhale and release. And the next thing we'll do, keeping the arms on the mat along the side of your body. This time we're going to press the legs into the mat and pretend we're coming up off the mat, but don't let the pelvis actually come off the mat. So you'll notice that you tighten up quite a bit in the lower abdominal muscles. This is the muscle group that we just worked on and we're working on again. Then go ahead and release it. And this little group of muscles are very important for low back pain. So if you can remember to do this whenever you have free time, it's really going to be worth your effort. So we'll inhale and do that one more time. As you exhale, press the feet into the mat as if you want to lift the pelvis off the mat without lifting. A couple of breaths here. Yitsasu. And then go ahead and release. And then this time, and the third time, we'll press the legs into the mat and then go ahead and lift the pelvis up off the mat and we'll come into bridge pose. But just be careful not to turn your head in bridge pose because it is a little bit of a risk to the neck. So you don't have to do full bridge. You can do half bridge, maybe try to keep a straight line from the knees to the hips to the shoulders. We'll breathe here, keeping the knees parallel. Don't let the legs splay out. Full deep breaths. And then when you come down, on your next exhale, come down slowly from the top of the spine, moving down. So we're reconnecting with the mat, one vertebrae at a time. And then the sacrum comes flat. And then we'll inhale again. And then exhale and press the hips back up into bridge again. And think about just using the strength of the legs and not necessarily the buttocks, because that can actually cause a little more, too much tension. So we'll try to relax the lower back while you're using the muscles to press up of the legs. Full deep breaths. And on the next exhalation, we'll slowly start to lower again, one vertebrae at a time. And then bring the hands together and gently reach up between the thighs, not too far, just a little bit, and you'll feel that also in your abdominals. And then slowly lower back down. From here, we're going to roll over to one side and then just press up to sitting. So wherever your burrito blanket or your bolster is, you'll start sitting on the heels and then you'll come off the heels. And you might notice that one of the feet just kind of hooks into the arch of the foot. It seems to be sort of a natural side effect. And then however you want to set up your bolster or whatever's going to give you that extra support, whatever height you want that to be at. Since this is up against your hip, we're going to turn towards it and then lay down. So you're getting a twist here for your spine. And be gentle. I know, Danielle, twists might be iffy for you, so see how it feels, okay? And then the neck, you can keep your head turned towards the front of your body, but if you want to turn the other way, that's fine too, if your neck is okay with that. And then basically we'll just stay here for a few minutes. Oh, I won't talk. I'm just going to let you close your eyes and breathe. and rest in this pose, okay? Once again, just letting the body rest, just letting it go, allowing everything to soften and breathing into that. And while you're here, just do another little body scan from here. Notice if there's any place that you haven't yet let go of. And is it possible to let that place soften? Is it possible to just bring a little more breath there? You'd be surprised, sometimes you think you're feeling relaxed and then you'll notice that maybe your feet are clenching or your hands are clenching or maybe your jaw. So just a little scan and notice if there's anything or anywhere that you can let go just a little bit more. Is there anywhere that your body can let you into this deep relaxation just a little bit more? So from here, we will start to very slowly think about coming out of this pose. What we're going to do is switch sides. So just so you can wrap your head around it first, because you can either move the bolster to the other side or you can just turn your body around and lay on it. So think about what would require the least amount of effort for you. How can you be even more easy on yourself? These are things that we're not taught. We're never taught how to be easy on ourselves, really. So once you're set up on the other side, you can go ahead and lay down at your own pace. And again, the same thing with the neck. Test it out on one side and then the other and see what is more comfortable for you. But as you have the supports next to your hip, you'll just turn towards them and just gently fold over that. Maybe this time too, maybe even checking in with the arms. If the arms are bent and resting on the floor, are they making your shoulders hike up at all? Just look into that. And if they are, maybe try reaching forward a little bit and getting a little more length in the arms. And then bring your awareness back to your slow, deep breaths. And allowing your body to just melt and soften and rest. And then maybe you can try doing that little body scan on the other side as well. Checking in with the feet, checking in with the legs and the abdomen. Is there anywhere you're still holding any tension? Is there anywhere that you can let go just a little bit more? And then from here, once again, we will start to first think about sitting up and then very slowly starting to make your way up to sitting. Take your time though. And keeping all your goodies nearby. So we'll take one blanket or a towel and roll it up. And we're going to place that underneath our knees. And you're on your heels here, so the toes point up. And then with your bolster, your blanket burrito, any blocks, anything else that you have at your disposal is going to go, you can do it a couple of ways. Actually, I think this will be the easiest way. You can put it right on your lap and set everything up so that you can, high enough so that you can rest your forehead. So in my case, this should be okay. And then once I rest my forehead, it keeps it from falling off. And then the hands can either be in front or underneath or wherever you can get them to be comfortable. So this is basically a supported forward fold. And the key here is with you get a little stretch in the low back. And also, once you rest the third eye on the surface of the block or pillow or whatever, that instantly kicks in your parasympathetic nervous system. So I know you're probably already feeling pretty calm, but that's just such a great way to reset your nervous system. And it's really important to do that as much as we can. And there are a lot of yoga poses that do it, but anytime that you're resting your forehead, like in child's pose and stuff, great way to come right into relaxation. And this may not feel like much in the first couple of breaths, but give it a good 30 seconds and you'll notice what starts to happen and how your body starts to melt into it when you have everything supported. And again, just bringing your awareness to your breath. And can you let your belly soften just a little bit more? So the breath flows in and out really easily and comfortably. Can you soften the neck and the neck muscles here? And can you soften your jaw? And release the tongue if it's stuck to the roof of the mouth. So maybe even let your mouth hang open just a tiny bit, just to relax all the muscles in that area. And then from here we will start to think about moving some of the props again. And sitting up, we'll kind of scooch over and have our knees bent, and you can stay sitting up or you can move back if you need to, but what we're going to do is cross the right over the left so that the ankle is on the upper left thigh. So, we all have different bodies and different muscles, and I can't predict what distance will be comfortable for you. But I feel like the further back you are, it's easier, right? And then if you feel like you can come forward a little, you can try that. Or you can really just relax into it, right? And lean back onto something. Usually we do it on the floor and bring everything in, but sitting up is slightly different, different take on it. And then once you're in a place where you're kind of comfy, then you're going to be able to press the arms in or the elbows, whatever you're leaning on right now, and start to move the upper body forward towards those bent legs and just see where you feel it. It shouldn't be too intense, but if it is, back off, of course. And we'll breathe into that. Now, most people will feel that on the outside of the right hip. So it's a lot of it is the piriformis muscle. And if wherever you're at, if you're feeling pretty comfy there, you can take it even further too. As long as you're feeling it, you're in the right place. There is no length or distance or anything like that. And then release that just by leaning back a little bit, and then cross the legs even further. See if you can maybe even move your left foot over to the right more. Right? And bring them to the mat. And then maybe press forward here. Just see where you can be. This one we can get a pretty deep twist in a bunch of different ways. So you can stay up here. The other one is you can cross the leg over so the knees are stacked and then sit forward. That's another option. Another option is to bend both knees and stack the knees and then lean forward. So it's, again, everybody's so different. So just choose which option you think will work out well. They're all pretty good, I think. I kind of like this one too, where it's sort of, you can grab your ankles or your shins and just kind of lean into it. And just wherever you're at, just try to keep your spine straight if possible. If you're leaning forward, that is. Now this one you might even feel not just on the underneath and the outer hip, but also maybe even in the lower back or in the QL, the quadratus lumborum. And then slowly we'll start to sit back up to release, and we'll twist our legs around in the other direction. So we'll, again, this knee can be as bent as you'd like with the foot flat on the floor, and the left ankle will be on the upper right thigh. And you can also try pressing that left thigh away from you as well as you're folding in on yourself to get into that piriformis muscle. And keep that left foot flexed. And that will protect your joints too. So you definitely want to make sure you're feeling it here. This is also good for like sciatica and stuff too. So if you know anybody who has sciatica, you can tell them, oh, I have something for you. Notice if that gets easier after a few breaths. Does it make you want to lean in more? Does it make you want to run away? I don't know. And then this one will start to release, and you can try the crossover on the other side. So maybe try whichever one worked for you last time, if that was comfortable. We'll just breathe here for a few moments. And then slowly we'll start to come back up from this one. And we'll move things out of the way, and we're going to come to our backs one more time. We'll just squeeze in maybe one more little twist before Shavasana. So from here, we'll take the, actually we'll do a different one. I always do the same twist, so come up onto your toes and then press the toes into the mat so that the hips lift up. And you're just going to move your hips over to the right, and then you'll let the knees fall over to the left. And if you'd like, you can put something in between your knees, like a block or a rolled up towel. You could even put something under the knees so that you can let your weight just sort of fall a little bit more comfortably. And you can also take your left hand and place it on top of the right knee to keep the knees stacked. And then just make sure that the shoulder blades are still on the floor. So that might mean that you're not twisting as far, but it's, again, safer for the joints. Full deep breaths here. Don't forget the breath. And then very slowly we'll start to make our way back to the center. And then once you reach center, come back to toes, lift the hips again, and move them over to the left while your knees fall over to the right. And again, any adjustments that you want to make, if you want to place a block under the knees or between the knees, and then the left hand can come to the right hand can come to rest on the left knee. And your gaze can just be up at the ceiling here, or you can even look over the left shoulder and maybe extend the left arm out to the side. Then very slowly we'll release this side and again make our way back to center. And then hug the knees into the chest one more time and give yourself another little back and forth rock. And then whenever you're ready, you can get ready for Shavasana. And I would recommend that rolled up blanket or towel that we used earlier. Put that under your knees. It'll just make it more comfortable. And then you can also put a blanket over you if you'd like, or you can put your bolster under your knees, however you want to do it. Put a puppy on your chest. I think that's a good idea. Very good idea. And then whenever you're ready, you can come into your Shavasana. So you can just relax, lay back. I usually start Shavasana by saying things like, let go of any effort. But I think we did that a long time ago. I think we've covered that one. So yeah, just let everything sink into the mat now. Fully supported. Now we're just letting the body rest in a comfy state. Letting everything soften and melt with every exhalation. Think again about softening the neck and softening the jaw. And maybe release the muscles of the scalp. Let them just feel like they're melting. And the muscles of the cheeks and around the eyes. So we'll start to bring awareness back into the room, into the space that you're in. And maybe just start by taking a full deep breath. Maybe try wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe taking the arms up overhead, giving yourself a stretch. Then bend your knees and roll over to one side before sitting up, just to make it easier on yourself. And we'll close out the practice. I hope that you'll sleep well tonight. And I'm so grateful that we made this happen. And now I actually feel inspired to change this to more, specifically a class for your back. Like, let's do it like a restore your back, And then you can let me know how you feel tomorrow too. So thank you so much for coming. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free from suffering. Namaste.